Hello, everyone. It's Greg Harrelson here with my co-host, Abe Safa, of course, with Century 21, the Harrelson Group, and going to bring you another episode of Myrtle Beach Real Estate TV. Been a busy week, busy month, and holidays are coming up on us pretty quick, huh, Abe?
I can't believe it's almost Thanksgiving. It's nuts how quickly this year went and how busy it's been.
Yeah, I can't believe it, but I tell you what, I'm kind of excited about. I haven't talked with my family yet to figure out what we're eating, but for some reason I'm looking forward to next week and the meal that's going to be served at my house. That's for sure.
Oh, it'll be good no matter what.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and jump in it. I know we wanted to talk about, well, of course, we'll run through some numbers, and not a lot has changed there, so we'll probably move through those a little swiftly today. But we've got a few other things going on, like COVID cases on the rise and a lot of rumors that things are going to kind of be shutting down again. Again, I can only say that they're rumors because I don't have any say-so as to how the local economy is going to navigate through, the COVID cases. But maybe we'll touch on that, as well as it's that time of the year where people are asking us, are things selling? Do things sell around the holidays? So I also want to address that. But, on the COVID front, what are, how are you seeing that impact? Are you hearing that in the marketplace at all right now, Abe?
Yes, I mean, it's definitely on the rise. I mean, we're setting record numbers across the country. And I'm starting to hear, like, back in March when COVID first started, I was getting a lot of resistance from sellers and buyers about looking at property, walking into property and things like that because of the cases.
Yes.
And then through the whole summer, that almost kind of went away. I mean, people were like, we're okay. We made some changes, obviously, with some virtual tours and virtual showings and things like that, which helped. But a lot of that went away all through the summer. But now I'm starting to hear those pop up again in conversations. I have people that are wanting to sell, but they're kind of thinking maybe not right now because cases are going back up again. Let me just kind of lay low for a couple of months. And also from buyers. So if the chatter continues to go on and we start seeing these numbers keep going up and places start shutting down around the country, that's going to impact, I think, the amount of buyers coming into town looking at property.
Sure. It very well may be. And, one thing that we know is that we can get through it, right? No matter what happens, we're going to get through it. And as a matter of fact, when we were on a major shutdown earlier in the year, we had a small little hiccup when it comes to sales. And then we had a massive surge when we opened back up. So when we look at the year in general, we haven't really seen a disruption in the marketplace. The sales have been strong. Prices have been strong. So I always say that, we'll control what we can control, and we won't stress over what we can't control. So if we do have some sort of shutdown, some sort of mandate, we'll deal with it. One of the things, though, I think that you and I learned, and a lot of agents within our office, we adopted the use of video. We adopted the accumulation of more information about our properties, about the area. So when we do have buyers that might be locked down, say in a different state, we're able to share with them so much about the property, whether it be interior videos on the property, whether it be Google Earth shots, so we could see what proximity that house is from at least away from the ocean versus the hospitals versus restaurants, et cetera. There's so many things that we kind of started doing because of the last shutdown that we're never going to stop doing. And it allows us to better present properties to people remotely. So just know that if there's issues with shutdown, it'll be business as usual for us in the sense that we'll keep, exposing the properties or promoting the properties to prospective buyers. And then again, we'll control what we can control, and we won't stress over what we can't control.
No question. If there is a will, there is a way. So if you remember back in the spring, even though physical showings went down, our online virtual showings went through the roof.
Yes.
So what we were able to do back then, which was great practice in case this happens again, is we're going to be able to capitalize on that. We've made our websites even stronger than they were before. We've invested more money into them, so getting some great buyer leads. So if there is a shutdown, we're going to be able to take all that buyer demand that goes up on online views, kind of bank them, still show them property virtually. So then when it does open back up, we'll see that spurt again like we had back in the spring. So we're ready for that.
Yeah, yeah, an acceleration. That's good.
Yeah.
So I know myself. How about you? Are you getting those questions? That seasonality type of question is, hey, does anything sell around the holidays? Have you gotten that one yet?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it happens every time. I just got off the phone with a lady that has a condo, and she's like, "Well, I mean, this is not the good time to sell, is it?" So, I mean, it's going to come up. It always comes up this time of year.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
it funny that, and when you in the summertime, well, it's not a good time to sell. There's like, it's my unit is so booked and it's hard to show it. And then the summer's gone and the fall's, well, it's not a good time to sell. There's really not that many people here. And I think I might just put a snowbird in there. And then all of a sudden in the winter, it's not a good time to sell because, there doesn't seem to be anybody here. It's like, I think that's just a default. Sometimes we default to fear.
Yeah.
And I know that you and I have, obviously we look at numbers, and when we look at numbers, and you've got a good statistic, I hope that you can remember what the numbers are, but I know you've shared this with me before, and that is when we look at the fluctuations month by month in the number of sales, it's actually really steady all year round in all months, but there might be a slight exception. Do you recall that research you did in the past?
I do, and I'm working from home today. If I was at the office, I have it right there on my wall, and I look at it every single day. So you and I have been here forever. I've been here 33 years. Myrtle Beach used to be where there was nothing in the off season. It was just, everything was in the summertime. It was just like a straight up and straight down. And now when you actually look at the sales curve, there's really not a whole lot of fluctuation, as you're saying. I think the busiest month of the year, I want to say, is June, May or June. I think we do about, as a market, not the company, a reflection of the whole market. I think we do about 13% of all the transactions for the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, May is about 11%, July is about 11%, then 10%. So it's almost flat. A little bit of a spike, but then when you look at the off months, like I think it's like 8, I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going by memory here. I want to say it's about maybe 8% in November, like 9% or 7% in December. There's only one month I think that kind of dips to about 5% or 6%, and that's January.
Mm-hmm.
But even at that, 5 or 6% of the entire market, that's not bad.
It's a lot of transactions still taking place. No doubt about it.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I pulled up a stat a second ago. In December, there was 833 homes sold last year.
Mm-hmm.
So the business doesn't just go away. The market doesn't just shut down shop, right? There's buyers here. What a lot of people kind of overlook is the people that are shopping right now for homes, the people that are coming into town during the holidays are going to be serious buyers, right? If you're leaving a family and we all are super busy during the holidays, if you're taking time out to look for a home during the holidays, you're pretty serious about buying. So what gets eliminated is a lot of the tire kickers that we get in the spring and early summer.
That's right.
So I personally feel like I'm not going to come out and say that the holidays is the best time to sell, because it may or may not be, depending on the scenario, depending on your home and what community you're in. But I always look at what the inventory is. So to me, that's like a no-lose number to look at, right? Forget the months of the year. I look at what's your competition right now in the market at your price point. What's the competition in your neighborhood? And if those numbers look very favorable to you, then I don't care if it's January or if it's May or June.
Yeah, yeah, and it kind of comes down to this. It's like one of the things about the summer is that people there's assumptions made that because the quantity of people is so high, then the sales have to be high. Right. But quantity of people doesn't necessarily mean quality of people, meaning quality of people that are motivated to purchase. Okay, so there might be a lot of people, along the Grand Strand, but that doesn't necessarily equate hand for hand in the area of number of sales. As a matter of fact, if you look at the population in the summer compared to the sales versus the population in the winter compared to the sales, like a per capita type of scenario, we would actually argue that the winter is the better time to be on the market if you just look at total people in the market compared to the number of sales. What I mean is, and what we can take from this is the quality of the motivation of the buyers is higher during the holidays. People are not looking at properties just to waste time. They're doing it out of necessity. So the number of showings that it takes to get a sale in the winter is going to be fewer showings to a sale than in the summer. Because especially in the summer, if it's a rainy day, then all the people are wanting to call real estate agents and take real estate tours because they have nothing else to do. They can't be on the beach, right? So the quantity could be really high, but then when you look at the number of sales, it doesn't show up. And so that's the difference. So from a real estate perspective, I think what's important is for you and I have to know the market. We have to be able to understand the different changes. And like right now, there's, there are people that are thinking of coming down here for the winter. They're starting to come down. So the buyers that are coming down are a little bit more like snowbirds. And then, of course, in the spring, there's going to be a little bit more of a golfer mentality. And then there'll be more of a vacation mentality in the summer, a little bit of golfer mentality in the fall, snowbirds back in the winter. So it's like, the buyer type changes with the season, but sales don't necessarily fluctuate with the season. It's the type of buyer that fluctuates. So good marketers like ourselves are going to understand what type of buyer is in the marketplace right now. What does the ads need to look like? What do we need to adjust the pictures that we're taking based on the interest of the buyers, et cetera. So, just know that, I will stick my neck out and say that the holiday season is a wonderful time to show your property. And the reason why is because you won't have to deal with many showings, but the showing requests that you do get, you'll want to let them see the property. So don't worry about having to show it every day around next week, around Thanksgiving, because you might only get one showing next week, but that one showing may be the one showing that you want to get. And so if somebody calls me the day before Thanksgiving and says, I need to see this house, then they probably need to see the house. They're not doing it just because they have nothing else to do.
They're not window shopping during the holidays. Not
window shopping. They're leaving that for buying gifts. Well, why don't you run us through the numbers?
All right, sounds good. Let's pop those up on the screen.
Yeah. So,
as you mentioned earlier, we're not seeing a whole lot of difference as far as fluctuations. We're still a pretty strong market. The pendings is still super strong relative to what's on the market right now. So single family homes, 51.61%. Again, week after week, I kind of feel like we're going to bore you guys. It's the same numbers practically every single week. So there's nothing out there that we're seeing that's a sign that the market is weakening. The numbers are still strong. The buyer demand is still out there. People are still buying homes. So single family homes, this is entire market strong. Looking at resales, that in itself is strong as well. 1,256 homes on the contract, 46.62%. So definitely a lot of demand still out there for homes. There's no question about it. New construction, 56.85% of the homes out there on the contract. Again, same thing as last week. Last week was 57.07, so not much difference there. And again, so I tell you every week that I'm surprised that these numbers are still strong right here. When we look at the condos, look at the condo market, 24.07%. So last week it was 23.02. So even though we're thinking that this number should be getting weaker, it's not. It's getting stronger. So that's a really strong number for condo market this time of year. Last week there was 1,490 condos on the market. This week there's 1,504 on the oceanfront.
And this tells the story, like these charts are answering the question: is it a good time to sell? It's the holidays, is it going to slow down around the holidays? I mean, these charts, these are the facts. This is the market telling us. Basically, the data is answering the question, and that is, hey, look, we're into November, and condo sales are accelerating. They're getting better. They're not weakening. They're strengthening.
Yeah, and that's the oceanfront right there. So I pulled the wrong file. That's usually next, but that's the oceanfront condos. Let me show you what overall condos looks like. Almost 37%. So that's a little bit up from last week. But again, for this time of year, I mean, I don't care if it's holidays or not. That's a strong number. If we had that in the midsummer, that's a strong number to have, 36.78%. And then finally, let's take a quick look at land, and we're going to see very similar numbers. It took a little bit of a dip. It dropped half a point. There was a few that closed out. So last week there was 437 pending. This week is 425 pending. But again, still a very strong market. Everything out there, all the indicators showing that the buyers, there's still much more demand than we have in inventory out there.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. There's the numbers again. So great. And what I would say is, if anybody is out there thinking about selling, the truth of the matter is you're going to be able to sell. But don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted that just because the market's so hot that, that you can go out there and just put it on the market and it sells. First of all, yes, you can. But I see a lot of people making a mistake. I actually have seen people that they're so confident that they can sell that the property, the market's so good that they'll list with somebody and they underprice the property. I have seen underpricing taking place in this market where they put a property on the market and I'm like, wow. And the only reason I didn't make an offer on it on myself is because I know there's going to be 10 offers on it because it's underpriced and it's going to end up, kind of getting bid back up to a fair market value. But be very careful right now. Be careful at making sure that when you're talking to real estate agents, you really investigate pricing strategy, marketing, because it still matters. It really still matters. And like a good marketing agent, an agent that'll have a good marketing program, they invest in advertising and things like that, like we do, we're going to create more demand and we're going to get you more money. So, yes, the market's good. Yes, you could almost list with anybody and get a property sold, especially if you underprice it. But at the end of the day, you're probably wanting to maximize your value. And I think that's where, Abe, you and I come in. So if anybody is thinking about selling and they want to know how to maximize their value, then I think we could be the go-to person for you. So again, Abe, any last final words?
Yeah, no question. Just to kind of piggyback off what you just said, especially in this kind of market, when you're in an appreciating market, you can't just look at the comps, right? Because that's the past. So just because your neighbor's home sold for $300,000, it doesn't mean your home should be $300,000. If the market's appreciating, inventory is getting less, you can, in many cases, ask for more money.
Absolutely.
So it's important to have a pulse on not just what happened, but also what is happening and what's out there as far as buyer demand. So yeah, be careful when it comes to pricing.
Yeah, and there's a balance, right? There's a balance between underpricing and then overpricing, because there's a point where we do have to deal with appraisers. But you know what? I would rather go ahead and price it and get it sold and deal with the appraiser and have to renegotiate a couple $1,000s from the buyer. I'd rather do that than underprice it and overprotect ourselves from the appraisal, underprice the property, and then my seller loses $5,000 or $6,000.
No question.
And so again, that's where a skilled anybody can sell it, but a skilled real estate agent is going to be able to maximize your price and, more important, protect your equity. And that's where we come from. So Abe, thank you again. Here's our contact information. These are our cell numbers. Again, it's Greg Harrelson, Abe Safa, Century 21, the Harrelson Group. We'd love to earn your business. And hopefully we're doing that now by just providing good, information about the real estate market and providing that to you on a weekly basis. All right, Abe, thanks again.
Take care, Greg. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.